Hello and welcome to Top 10 Out of Place Artifacts Revisited. When I first started my channel a few years ago, I finally decided on what type of content I wanted to make, but at that time was still getting used to how to make decent videos. As many of you are aware, I honestly dislike my old stuff, as it was not narrated and the production was bad, and I wasn't yet to the point I am now in being meticulous with my research. Many of them were basically just the, this picture looks cool so I'll add it mentality. Nothing like the quality and carefully researched topics that you are familiar with now. The reason I dislike those videos is, first, I hate text videos now as much as most of you do, and for the fact that I worry someone may click on that video and assume that is how all my content is. At the same time, I don't want to delete them as many people have enjoyed those videos as well. So it leaves me with the option of today's video of looking at older videos and seeing how much of the old information is still credible. So let's get into this, and it should be quite fun. Aha, my old intro. I don't miss that at all. Right off the bat, I received a ton of hate about the thumbnail, which in all honesty wasn't intended for clickbait, as I was assumed to be doing. It was a cool image that I thought would be fun to look at. The actual image is from an artist named Christopher Locke, who did a whole series of these based on obsolete technology, with a tongue-in-cheek presentation as it being found fossilized by modern-day archaeologists. Okay, I'm going to stop it here and mention another frequently commented on topic with this entry. The song itself is from the site Income Tech, which has royalty-free songs from an artist named Kevin MacLeod, or MacLeod, I never was sure. I still frequently use his songs to this day, but the one in this video is called Unity. While not a big deal, others have mentioned how the song resembles the beginning to I Hate Mondays from the Boomtown Rats. It certainly starts similar, but the rest is different, although I'm not sure how that would hold up in court, but that seems like a problem for Kevin and the Rats to figure out. Okay, number 10. Oh, how much everyone loved this one. While I still have an issue with science being considered stone-hard fact, especially when those facts change as time goes on, this entry on the video seems to be a bit clear-cut. Originally, it was exhibited as a form of proof of our ancestors walking alongside dinosaurs. According to our known history, there was a gap between humans and dinosaurs even possibly coexisting by 65 million years. So, what are these prints from the Paluxy River in Glen Rose, Texas showing then? At one time it was latched onto firmly by the Creationist Evidence Museum as proof that the Earth is younger than mainstream science may want us to think. The problem comes in that after further studies, it was found that many of the human prints were actually highly eroded prints from the same dinosaur. Also, within this, many of the other human prints found were in fact man-made. As in, they were chiseled into stone. As a bit of interesting information, there has been similar claims made about the prints found in Clayton, New Mexico, so at this point, who knows? What is known is that the ones in Paluxy are misinterpreted or outright fakes. The Istanbul Spaceship. Oh, you could have been something. The story behind this supposed artifact falls into the dangerous categories that I frequently talk about in my videos. The history behind it and how the museum came about it has always been sketchy, and the origin story has changed quite frequently. No names, no dates, and just some merchant or this guy. It was hidden away for quite some time and given the mysterious backstory of it being locked up due to it changing the way we look at science. In reality, it was locked up due to it being found out to be a plaster model made less than 40 years ago. The London hammer is quite a fantastic and interesting find, but not for the reasons some would have you assume. Originally it was discovered in 1936 in London, Texas by a man named Max Hahn and his wife while walking along the Red Creek. The hammer was embedded in stone and led many to believe it was from a prehistoric or biblical times. This latter idea was picked up by a man named Carl Baugh, who works with the previously mentioned Creationist Evidence Museum. Man, my research was terrible back then. I should have caught on to this red flag immediately. Again, nothing against creationists, but the museum was already caught faking evidence before, so scrutiny should be expected when they are involved. Not to mention that they later turned this archaeological find into a cash cow by making replicas available for sale. Granted, this is frequently done by most reputable museums, but I don't care for that practice either. Back to topic. The hammer was very similar to ones found that were made in the 1800s. As for the rock it is embedded in, it simply is due to minerals such as limestone or sandstone in this case, forming around it over time, much like a stalactite or stalagmite. The artifact is still quite interesting and a good example of how minerals can form in strange ways. The last piece of the puzzle is that claims are strong that even though it is made up of 96% iron, it hasn't rusted. The problem here is that it has and is rusted. Even the pictures of the object convey this fact. Here we have the Williams Enigma Lathe, which is still one that has its mystery surrounding it, but within the topic, it also has quite a bit of speculation. This stone was reportedly found in 1998 by John J. Williams in an undisclosed location in the United States, and he holds the equally convenient job in relation to a plug in a stone as an electrical engineer. Not to mention that he is also the CEO of a company called Consumertronics. With his story, he claims that the stone is granite, has been dated back to 100,000 years old, and refuses to divulge where he found it. John says he is open to scientists testing the stone, but claims further that only a few have taken him up on this offer. With the studies, including the dating process, he hasn't offered any proof of them existing or ever being performed. This doesn't stop him from mentioning that it has been found to contain no traces of epoxies or glue, but that the stone and plug form naturally. The cracks in this story, pun intended, quickly surface when just looking at images of the stone. Granite is very strong, and unlike this specimen isn't porous, so that claim is false. Looking into his company, Consumertronics, it is all about technologies dealing with more of the conspiracy-minded folk. On top of this, his website goes into great depth about his Enigma Lathe, where he will sell you a CD of images of it for only $19. But you can get it for free if you prove to him that it will be utilized in a way to gain him more money or publicity. It is obvious he is doing this stunt for material gains. But what about the stone? He has a reward set up in the amount of $100 if you can successfully prove to him how the stone was made. The caveat is, he has to agree with you, or you don't get the money. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, he will gladly sell you the stone on eBay for the reasonable price of $500,000. Stones like this remind me of a video I saw recently, where it is possible to make your own spinning volume knob for your computer out of formed cement. This goes without saying, but the plug looks similar to an XLR plug. So is this artifact debunked? No, but there is a reason no one really cares to look into it. If it was real, why would anyone want to plug in a rock? Oh, never mind. The screws and stone topic are for the most part legitimate, but after many comments from my viewers, I tend to agree that they seem to be what are called crinoid fossils. Commonly known as sea lilies, these plant-like animals have been around for a long time and still exist to this day in regions with water. The fossilized remains of these beings are often what can be found that look a lot like screws. Some of the images found in this video don't quite fit what those fossils look like, so either they are legit or good hoaxes. This object, which at the time was just known as a space stone, and is now called the Lanzhou stone. I honestly thought after all this time the artifact would be proven a hoax, but I couldn't find that information anywhere. It was discovered in the Mazong Mountains in China by a man named Mr. Zilian Wang, and it appears to be a metal screw and a black stone. The object was highly studied, and it was found that the stone nor the metal screw were man-made. Theories abound as to what it actually is from, a preserved prehistoric organism, to part of an asteroid, to even an artifact from advanced civilization. This object is still rightfully on this list of out-of-place artifacts. If I missed something about this being a hoax, please let me know in the comments below. The Antikythera Mechanism is a device that broadly fits into the terms of out-of-place artifacts. Originally discovered in a sunken ship off the coast of Antikythera, Greece on May 17, 1901, it led to much speculation. It is thought to be a form of a simplistic computer used in the prediction of astronomical events. The dating for the device is all over the board. While some claim it is from 70 BC, others state it is from 205 BC. Even who made the device is up in the air, as different theories about that it could have been constructed by Archimedes in Syracuse, while others state it was from Corinth. Whoever built it, the workmanship is fascinating, and here's where we get into the out-of-place artifacts that I started this conversation with. What is agreed upon is that the technology for the device was lost during the period of antiquity, and the knowledge didn't re-emerge until the 14th century. It truly is a breathtaking marvel. The supposed airplanes are the dream find of us UFO enthusiasts. However, many have pointed out that they may not actually be sculptures of spacecraft and airplanes, but rather more common things such as birds and insects. These artifacts were found in Colombia and date back around 1000 CE as the creation of the aptly named Quimbaja civilization. While it is generally agreed that they represent animals or insects, what is hard to miss is the detail included that showed an interest in aerodynamics. No animal or insect that I'm aware of has a tail that is vertical or has stabilizers. So in relation to this video, the objects were meant to represent things found here on Earth, but the interest in how they fly, or even if humans could create something to fly, was quite obvious in their designs. This object was found by a Russian fisherman by the name of Viktor Morozov, which is why it is aptly known as the Morozov microchip. Quickly it was picked up as proof of an ancient advanced civilization, but sadly, that proof isn't what this object exhibits. After being studied at the Platov South Russian State Polytechnic University, it was discovered to be part of one of those crazy crinoids again. This time it was split in half so that it did resemble what could look like a computer chip. Much of this fantastical speculation behind it was brought about by people with a particular agenda. Honorable mentions. I remember doing this before I remembered I could save this topic for another video. This bell, found in 1944 in West Virginia, is quite an interesting piece of history, but its existence may not be as odd as one may think. Many of my Hindu friends on YouTube contacted me in relation to the bell, noting how it looked quite reminiscent to the puja bells which are frequently found in their temples and households for prayer purposes. Each bell handle is decorated with the deity that the individual worships. As you see in the images on your screen, the two bells look quite similar. As for how the bell made it to West Virginia in the 1940s is more of a mystery than how the bell became lodged in coal. The coal found in the area is mostly bituminous, which is a softer coal containing a substance that is asphalt. Yes, the stuff that most roads are paved in. As we all know, asphalt is soft and pliable, but how did the bell come to become locked inside? Many assume that for some reason, someone dropped the bell in a coal seam, which at the time was a slurry mixture, and years later it hardened up only to be put in with the other coal. Again, this is the going theory, but the thing that most holds back this artifact from becoming more than it is its ties with the Hindu religion. As stated in this video, there is quite a bit of information out there disproving the reality of the crystal skulls, but there's always that one bit of information that comes out stating that there are real ones that actually exist. Don't get me wrong, the skulls are real, but more in line with being bought from Sotheby's auctions and then later being planted at an excavation site. Although, as mentioned, some do claim that real ones exist, but to date, none have been brought forward. You can, however, buy them on eBay right now for $60. I have nothing to say for this location, as from what I can tell, everything is still valid. The architecture is incredible, and regardless how it was done, it truly is a marvel of architecture. This is probably the most interesting thing that I've included on this video. This stone's appearance on the History Channel show In Search of Aliens with Georgios Tsoukalos left many people wondering what in fact the stone was that Robert Ridge claimed to have found in 1998 near the Roswell crash site. After a quick search, the answer is somewhat expected, but still a little disappointing. After the story aired, a man by the name of John stepped forward with images of similar rocks that he had in his possession. The only issue was that he bought the stones in 1998 during the Alien Encounter Festival of '98 held in Roswell, New Mexico. Apparently the rocks were being sold by a company by the name of Millennium Productions, which is no longer in business. The real questions that remain are if Robert Ridge knew the stone was a fake, or if he did come across it by accident when someone dropped their souvenir. As I end this video, I have to mention that this was sort of fun, and it was almost therapeutic in a way, as I am able to provide the correct information about a video that showed, when I first started out, that I seriously missed the mark. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments, and I will revisit my other older videos. Wow, who would have thought I would end up making a video debunking myself? The purpose of this video was to always provide you with the most factual information as possible, and in a way, owning up to my mistakes I have made in the past. As always, if you haven't yet done so, please consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Well, not like this, but similar. And also give this video a thumbs up, as it greatly helps me out. With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.